effect.
You know I need to get this hair redone.
It's not redone. It's retwisted. This the retwist.
Retwist back again. Locc AT. Season 7 is upon us. Joined by Marlo, none other than the drummer, converted rapper. Chapter 7 streaming. Go peep that. Spotlight up next. But today for the retwist, y'all, we are talking about none other than Jay-Z and Lil Nas X.
Yeah.
So, let's get straight into it. Y'all seemed a little heated before we started rolling the camera. So
we was just
let's start with Jay
about
and his recent deal with the NFL.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you guys are aware or if you guys have been seeing in the news. I'm sure you have. Jay-Z recently inked a deal with the NFL to become their live music entertainment strategist, and
Whatever that means.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I'm sure it means. I mean, implementing a strategy with live music entertainment. I'm assuming it would be something like that, which would be the halftime shows. But I don't know how much further that would reach. I would reach and stretch out to. But and he's also working with a social justice program with them. To what lengths are still unknown. But he's seen a lot of backlash from it. A lot of polarizing comments. A lot of polarizing approaches, and Kaepernick has already spoken out about it himself, along with a few other NFL players, notably Eric Reid from the Carolina Panthers, that actually was one of the first, if not it was the first NFL player to actually start kneeling with Cap when he started that protest back, I think, 2016. But you see this stuff, they're talking about the details of this stuff. Okay. Jay-Z is going to also
Do we even really know all the details?
I'm sure we don't. I mean, you know how it goes, man. This is business. I'm sure they let us know what they need to appease us and make sure the public is occupied. But he's also going to become a majority owner of an NFL team, which also has yet to be released. So I'm curious about that as well, because depending on where he goes, it could also let out more context to decision making with going with the deal as well. But a lot of people are just saying it's a bag, man. You know what I mean? Saying he's getting it for the bag. Jay-Z was also named hip-hop's first billionaire this year. So he is making strides, obviously, in a sense, to try and stretch that wealth and try to, make it that forever money. You know what I'm saying? Owning teams, having stakes in all these different businesses and things. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna go. The public don't seem happy, man. Some people are seeming cool.
It's probably split.
I would have to say New York. I mean, I'm sure New York is rioting. You know what I mean? They like
again, but what team is he going to? Is he going to the Giants? Like,
I thought
is
about
it a
that
New York team?
I thought about maybe even being one of the more profitable NFL teams, like the Dallas Cowboys. Or something like that. What if he got a majority stake with the Cowboys,
bro? America's team.
What does anybody know? Like,
and that being said, what were you saying, man?
No, you good.
I was just going to say, like, will it boost that franchise? I mean, we know some of those NFL franchises, they're on the downcline. You know what I mean? Look at what Jay-Z did to Brooklyn. Brooklyn has a whole new energy. The Nets is way
they're
different
contenders
now.
next year.
Yeah, they're contenders, exactly. So what will happen?
I wonder, and I'm curious to see what kind of changes he's actually going to be able to implement, man. Already it seems that the players that are concerned about social justice aren't happy about the play. You know, you look at Colin Kaepernick is not happy. Eric Reid isn't happy. And a few other players that work with them and are on the same wavelength as them in the sense of like what's right and what's wrong, they also aren't happy about it because it looks like a money grab. We were talking about it a little off air. We were talking about, Jay-Z was talking about the kneeling thing. He was asked directly about that in a Q&A after the deal was announced. He directly touched on it and said, we've moved past that. We've moved past kneeling. We're trying to make progress here, and this is how we do it. And he sees the business proposition being a way to actually bridge that gap between players and ownership. And when he, often surfaces, it makes sense. But when you think about why the kneeling even started, it wasn't about ownership. It wasn't about the NFL. It was about social injustice in America in general. It was about the nation. It was about stuff going on in the streets. It wasn't about what's going on in the field. And when the owners made it about what was going on in the field, that's when it became a problem. Colin Kaepernick being blackballed, a number of other players being blackballed, a lot of players being afraid to be blackballed. Right. So they're not protesting openly about it because they're afraid for their jobs, man.
NFL trash.
Yeah, because it's their jobs, it's their livelihood.
I just think that I don't want to, or not when I say me, but
Yeah.
you know, you don't want to. Sometimes we might remove the person from the icon.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I know that I want lineage. So if I had an opportunity, would I go after having a family lineage that way? Because it's organic. Like, I want to own it. I want to do this. I want to have that. Is that necessarily wrong?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is that
That's the
and so then, like, I think we can sometimes we give the motive and we take that. Now, do I think, like I said, unless he's dealing with legislation,
Yeah.
I don't know how much you can infiltrate to change about the rules because you find in the players to, you know, about kneeling if they can't have a voice, that's bull.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And I feel like that's the question. It's like, okay, I mean, that's what most people are upset about. They look at it and the way it's being painted by media, it's a move for social justice. It's a move to fix social justice, and it's all about social justice. But then it comes out, almost seems like it comes out later that he's going for the majority ownership of a team, and then it's like some of the stuff that's being involved, some of the money that's being moved around, and people are like, well, is it about the money? And then you think about the context of, you know, being named, you know, billionaire this year and stuff like that, and it makes it feel like it's disingenuous because we weren't told the whole story first.
The crazy thing is it's two problems in one, though. Like, if you really look at it, because the problem on the field, like you said, stems from a problem in the streets.
Yeah.
The whole facade, or not facade, but what he wants to change is in the streets and how they're being treated on the field. So you got to go into the NFL and say, okay, hey, this isn't fair. And then we also are riding for them out there. They have to be, basically the football players have to be able to ride for what's going on out in the streets. So they have to be able to do that. And that's his only, but how are you going to be able to do that? Because that's two issues in one, when the only issue was stop killing black people.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like what you said, which that was the original point. You know, so to go to that, to stop killing black people, hey, stop telling black people you can't kneel.
Yeah.
You got two problems.
Exactly.
You know,
so do you feel like this is good for
most
the NFL?
of the problems.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's good for the NFL, good for the culture, good for Jay-Z? I feel like it's definitely good for Jay-Z.
It's a start.
I feel like it's an awesome start for Jay-Z financially, for his family and what he wants to do.
Yeah.
I definitely would say, more or less, you know, with our conversation even off air, I'm a little bit more confused on what you can really do motively. Like, what can you really do in that, the actual impact? Because what you're doing already outside of here, you know, with legislation and freeing people and paying for, you know, exonerations of, you know, different criminals, you know what I mean, offenders, whatever. Yeah. And they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
So with you doing that, you making a dent. But how big were these big power plays are you going to make as big of a dent? Can you do that? You know, is the question. So I think it's a great move. I guess it's a time to wait.
From history, it suggests Jay-Z's capable of it.
Correct.
We just got to wait and see. And it's definitely the start.
I feel good about it myself. I'm curious to see what happens. I feel like seeing the players' reactions on the other side can add context, because they're on the front lines. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are going to feel that change first. So I'm hoping that they are as vocal about the change they feel as they are about this move right now. And hopefully we'll actually be able to know when that change happens. So, you know, we'll see, man. It's a step towards progress. I'm looking forward to see what happens this year and next year. I'm hoping Jay-Z can do what he got to do. You know what I mean?
We can wait and see. That's all we can do.
Let
us know what you guys think down below in the comments, all that.
Yeah,
that's our Jay-Z portion of the retwist. We still got Lil Nas X in his historic, 19-week run.
19 weeks, Mo. He might be at 20 by the time y'all hear this.
Yeah.
But
capped by his Time Mag cover.
Yeah.
That blew up on Twitter during the week, I think.
You know, I mean, this dude has had an amazing year, like,
to say the least.
He's been eating all year. He's been eating unapologetically and not trying to be anything he's not. You know, if anything, he's just found a way to be him 100%. And
you gotta.
That's what it is.
I mean, you gotta appreciate it, to say the least.
I respect it. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also like one of those things. I remember when he first blew up, he kind of came out and was like, "Yeah, I am an industry plant." What do you guys think? You believe that? Like,
yeah.
Do you think like the labels just fueled his success? I mean, obviously.
I don't know. The industry plant thing, that itself is a theory. So I can't say that I believe it.
I mean, he came out and said he was.
I mean, that man, he's also trolling type of dude.
Yeah, it's one of those things like we don't really know what's.
I don't know what's
real.
True,
and that's kind of what happened when he came out of the closet as well. It's like I didn't really know, because it kind of was a joke when he tweeted about it, and I saw it was like, is he serious? Like, not in like a bad way, but like, is he joking around or like, but then he started going around saying it. So you got to respect it again. What were you going to say, Marlo?
My question would be, my fault. My question would be, has anyone heard, what was his music before that hit?
It was like along that trap kind of. I
Like-
think it was more like the Panini vibe.
Because the only way you would say I'm an industry plant would be as if your content and what you did changed post
True.
getting into the industry.
Right.
You know, so like it's that song is it because it's such a contrast to what he's used to and how he rap? Because that song, he's pretty much, was this Old Town Road? As, you know,
Then that
I
went
got
on the
horses
run.
in the back. That's
Yeah.
what, so is that how
Yeah.
he was rapping before?
Had the same style.
You know, is that
yeah.
the same style, or was it because it was a crossover of sound that he gets wrapped up in saying he's an industry plant? Because like what is it?
And I mean, he came out with this EP and showed that he had a few more songs, like the Panini joint, which after I think Old Town Road broke the record, he started pushing the Panini joint a little bit more. And you see that on the hot tracks of Apple and all that type of stuff. You see kind of even meme videos a little bit more. So it's one of those things where he's like, he's got a good influence, good fan base.
Yeah.
Obviously it kind of happened in the past, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
But there's also rumors that he had like other troll accounts, Twitter accounts where he was like a Nicki stan, stuff like that, where he's like, stuff like that. If you play into the algorithms, you can gain steps.
Traction. Yeah, you can. I mean,
And from that, you know what I mean? One person hears Old Town Road or
yeah,
they catch on and that's
exactly.
where
It's
we're
so
at right
crazy,
now.
man.
So
you know, it's crazy because I still haven't heard that song. I still haven't listened to the song.
Old Town Road?
Yeah, I still haven't heard it all the way through. I heard it in Subway the other day, and I was like, "Oh, is this that?" I ain't never heard this part of the song, and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." And then I just went back to what I was doing, and I still ain't heard that song all the way. But the thing is, even without any of my support, bro, I respect them, but it's not my vibe, and that's just how I feel, and I'm not gonna. It's just not worth it. And you know, without any of my support, I've not put any money into this, man.
Yeah.
Still number one. You know what I mean? And
Facts.
I'm sure I'm not the only one. You know what I mean?
Facts.
I'm not trying to avoid him. I just don't.
That's not your lane. That's not what you.
That man, number one, 19 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So respect to that dude. He doing it.
Salute that
Yeah.
guy.
and that begs to differ. Like, is it all like if I put $1 million into something, is it bound to be successful?
No.
That comes.
No,
That comes
you
to that
gotta
question.
Trump that.
I mean, obviously, like it's not just throwing $1 million away, but it's like if I put $1 million strategically
Stamp it.
into places, am I bound to be successful?
I feel like it's a matter of
That's what it seems like.
man. That's the thing. That's what makes it think if he's an industry plant. You know what I mean? If you got the right people that's got the formula right, and it's a handful of people that really know it. You know what I mean? And they give it to you. Are you a plant? You know what I mean? Because you got the formula now, and you can push forward your stuff, and it's just going through the algorithms like that, and you got a pass or something like that. You know
I
what I
think
mean?
we need to start paying attention to how powerful like the server farms are, the
Fam.
bots are now.
Yeah.
But that's another topic, not for the retwist.
No.
Probably for the unscripted
live, yeah.
live every Sundays. The Q Brand YouTube, Facebook. Go peep that.
Go peep
That
that.
is our retwist for the day, y'all. We still got our spotlight and freestyle, our favorite parts of the show, featuring our special guest Marlo for the day. Chapter 7 out. Go stream that. Go peep that. It's a vibe. We already played a few tracks. That's on our
Yeah,
podcast.
7 of them.
Mixcloud, the Daze. We also got our exclusive mix. If you ain't hip, you ain't got no.
Just let me be great.
If you ain't,
Just let me.
keep the links.
Yo, it's AT.
It's Locc.
And we are here. Daze is here. Daze is in effect.
And we just want to make sure you guys know where to find all the Daze content, whether it be on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook.
Thanks for watching today's video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe.
And to stay up to date to all of our content, make sure you follow all the links in the description below.
Daze is in effect. We'll see you next time, people.
Till next time.
Yeah.